Breaking next on Wink News at 10, a massive mulch fire burns near I-75. We're live just feet away.
And homeowners put on alert as brush fires rage. Next on Wink News at 10.
Wink News begins with breaking news.
Fires are threatening Southwest Florida. This is a live look at I-75 North near Bayshore Road in North Fort Myers. Here you can see the fire is very close to the interstate. Fire officials are advising the public that the flames may cause it to shut down this evening. A Wake News viewer sent us this picture just an hour ago showing the flames from I-75. You can see just how close the flames are to driving lanes and how large they are next to those vehicles. Wink News was the first on the scene of this mulch fire and covered it live as breaking news at 6. Here you can see firefighters working to keep the flames from the roadway, even bringing in a helicopter to drop water. We also have a bird's eye view of the fire. These are drone images from a viewer showing us just how massive this fire is.
And breaking in the past 15 minutes, we have learned 2 homes burned in the Sable Palm area of Collier County. Greater Naples Fire says the Greenway fire ignited a camp and an RV home. Fire crews say people in Sable Palm, Verona Walk, and Winding Cypress need to be staying alert tonight. To the east of there, smoke-covered Alligator Alley, as you see right here. Check it out. These are the conditions just before sundown on mile marker 85. And earlier today, crews evacuated one home as the flames from the 116th Avenue fire got dangerously close to it in the Picayune Strand. The Nightbeat has live team coverage of the fires across the area and the weather conditions affecting the firefighting efforts tonight. And topping off the coverage is the Nightbeat's Chris Grisby in North Fort Myers. Chris.
Yes, John Carlos, right back behind me, you can actually see the glow of the flames of this fire here in North Fort Myers. Just before you get on I-75, you can see that smoke just glowing from those flames, and firefighters are battling this fire right now at this hour. Now, crews started battling this fire at NW Horticulture just after 5 this evening. And just before dusk, we watched a helicopter from the Charlotte County Sheriff's Office actually dropping load after load of water, trying to gain control of this fire. We know that about 2 acres of raw mulch is burning right now, along with 3 acres of this wooded area before you get to I-75. And this is all within yards. And crews right now, they're working through the night to try to keep this fire contained.
Not really made too much of a dent on the magnitude of the fire right now. We have $1 million piece of equipment we're protecting right now that's in there that belongs to the horticulture company that we're working on trying to get it out. That's our main priority of mission right now. Fires of such a great magnitude that we're not even really making a dent on the fire right now.
And here's a look at drone video from a Wink News viewer that shot this earlier this evening, showing the magnitude of this fire right next to dry mulch and just coming within yards of I-75 just before you get to mile marker 143. Now, the good news is that this fire is 100% contained, but crews will be working all throughout the night, and you may be seeing this fire smoldering for days to come, because just look at all that back there. That's a lot of mulch that's left to burn, and the Red Cross is out here helping these firefighters get through the next upcoming days. Reporting live in North Fort Myers, Chris Grisby, Wink News Now.
Well, thank you, Chris. And Wink News has been live on Facebook, giving you a live look at the growing mulch fire in North Fort Myers. This is a time lapse of how the flames grew throughout the afternoon. The flames have been shooting into the air now for hours. And fire crews in Collier County are warning the public of the smoky conditions you see right here and the chance that the fire could head towards their homes. Viewers have called us to complain about the plume of smokes in Naples, Lely, and Marco Island. The Nightbeat's Nicole Valdez is in the Picayune Strand for us right now. She has the latest on the 116th Avenue fire. Nicole.
John Carlos, smoke from that 2,000-acre fire burning just south of where we're standing right now covered most of Alligator Alley in smoke earlier this afternoon. We know crews had to evacuate at least 1 home on Miller Road, and others were being told to get ready to leave at a moment's notice. Right now, the Florida Forest Service is working on keeping those flames well within the Picayune Strand State Forest and, of course, away from homes in this area. And they're staging crews at 2 major points, one on the northeast or north end end and east ends of that 116th Avenue fire. They say this fire has two heads and it could threaten people living on both of those sides. Right now, the fire is at least 10% contained, but it's just one of multiple fires still burning in Collier County tonight. The Greenway fire reached 3,000 acres today, and we do now know it has destroyed at least 2 structures, and we saw ash and smoke covering East Collier County. We talked to one business who tells us they were prepared to fight as flames inched closer and closer.
It's not good. It's really scary.
It's frightening. I mean, you look at that and, you know, it looks like one big dark cloud.
As shoppers visited this citrus grove off Sable Palm Road, many stared in awe as huge plumes of smoke billowed less than a mile away.
It's almost like there's snow coming down. So much ash.
Yeah, we're starting to get a little more nervous.
Owner Bobby Smith said fire crews were standing by to protect the building if flames continued to spread. But he and his employees readied to protect their crop.
We've got 120 acres here. It can always jump, you know. We've seen it before. They'll jump a half a mile to a mile too. So
knowing flames could destroy businesses like this and nearby homes,
looking at your back door and seeing this, would you be comfortable sleeping at night?
many are flashing back to what they just overcame.
People are already still getting repaired from the hurricane, and now they have this to worry about.
And firefighters put 3 communities on high alert tonight as a result of the growth of the Greenway fire: Verona Walk, Winding Cypress, and Sable Palm. If you live in those areas, you're being asked to monitor any updates on this fire for over the weekend. Live in the Picayune Strand in Collier County, I'm Nicole Valdez, Wink News Now.
Nicole, thank you. And Wink News is the weather authority. Meteorologist Zach Malak joins us now to tell us how the weather will affect firefighters and the smoke many of you have been complaining about. Zach.
Yes, Brittany, in fact, noticing a wind right now from the south that'll still be with us until 11 p.m. But notice it is going to remain light. The 3 fires currently burning in between really US 41, I-75, and east of Collier Boulevard 951. We are seeing that light breeze with us for tonight, maybe allowing a few firefighters to be able to tackle a few of these areas. But notice still tomorrow morning, the breeze from the east is going to remain light once again, but it's actually going to be pushing some smoke towards the west. So if you live in Lely Resort, Naples, East Naples, even Golden Gate, you can expect a good amount of smoke for tomorrow morning. As we head throughout the afternoon on your Sunday, notice the breeze actually shifts directions from the Gulf, begins to push that smoke inland. So that is actually going to be better news. Not as smoky across downtown Naples, 3rd and 5th Street, 3rd Ave and 5th Street. Also noticing some better conditions across portions of Naples. But notice like today, we actually had a good amount of smoke moving off from east to west to start. Then the sea breeze packed up and then actually moved the smoke off towards the east, seeing that sea breeze there actually degrading a few of the clouds. But expect this again for your Sunday. More details on the fires again and tracking that smoke all coming up in just a bit.
Wink News is committed to keeping you updated on these fires and the risks they may pose to you. For the latest images and information when we're not on the air, head to the Wink News app.
A nationwide push for gun control. Hundreds of thousands of people took to the streets marching for their lives. In Parkland, hundreds filled a park just minutes away from the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School, where a former student gunned down 17 people. Survivors of the Parkland shooting began planning today's rally just days after the shooting at their school last month.
Tens of thousands in Southwest Florida also dedicated their Saturday to supporting the survivors and gun control. Students, artists, families, even pets took to the streets of Fort Myers today. They told the Nightbeat's Chris Grisby they're working to make change.
Thousands of people demanded change in the streets of downtown Fort Myers.
My life comes first, not your guns.
From Centennial Park to the old courthouse, people marched for gun control reform.
It's time and past time for this to have happened.
Samantha Voss and Rihanna Holton are just 2 of hundreds of students from Cypress Lake High School advocating for change.
We want to feel safe and we want to learn, and that's what schools are for. We shouldn't be scared to go to school.
And these students aren't the only ones.
We're seniors and we're here, and we hope people will continue to not just have this as a feel-good thing, but continue and remember to vote.
Artist 2
It can fire 45 rounds in a minute and all victims will be dead.
wrote poems and left rocks of encouragement to show their support.
We have backup and we're going to make a change.
In this, Am I Next? A silent gathering next to empty body bags hope to spread a message across Southwest Florida and the nation. Chris Grisby, Wink News Now.
But Fort Myers wasn't the only place in Southwest Florida where people came out to have their voices heard. People also woke up in Punta Gorda this morning, determined to dedicate their Saturday to change as well. We'll have more from them up ahead on the Night Beat.
We are clear for tonight, but notice to our north a good amount of rain and shower, even storm activity and even snow across North Carolina. Do we see colder air come our way? Details are coming up.
Wake News is staying on top of fire coverage. We'll be right back with the latest on the fires threatening Southwest Florida.
And Wake News is the Southwest Florida news leader. Right now, we have news crews on the scene of this massive fire in North Fort Myers. It's been burning for hours. Fire officials tell us this is a mulch fire. And in Collier County, we also have a crew keeping a watch on the multiple fires there in the Picayune Strand Forest. One RV home has been lost in the Greenway fire. We just learned that within the last 20 minutes or so. And in the 116th Avenue fire, fire crews are telling people to be prepared just in case of evacuations there tonight.
And Wake News is also the weather authority. Meteorologist Zach Nalak is here to talk more about how these weather conditions are contributing to these fires.
Yeah, guys, as you know, we are in the dry season. We haven't had too much rain despite what we saw at least last week when we had a good amount of rain come our way. But still, we have been dry. We'll continue to be dry. And that allows a few of these fires to pop up. And we've been rather breezy at times the last few days. And that has also allowed these fires to jump and skip and actually grow rather rapidly. But notice for tonight, we are seeing a lighter breeze from the south. This is usually a good thing, hopefully allowing these fires to maintain in a certain area. But notice, as we go throughout the night and even to tomorrow morning, we still see the breeze on the light side. That's still going to be a pleasant sight. But what may not be so pleasant is actually this east to west breeze we can see bring a good amount of smoke through Lely Resort, even Naples, downtown Naples, 5th Ave and 3rd Street. Golden Gate can see a good amount of smoke for tomorrow morning. So if you have any breathing problems, maybe taking your dog out tomorrow morning 7 to 8 a.m. may not be the best idea. You'll have to wait until the late morning, early afternoon when we get this Gulf breeze to come back with us to blow the smoke off towards the northeast. Notice around 3 to 5 p.m. we'll see the breeze 5 to 10 miles per hour. This is actually going to allow the fires to build and grow on that northeastern side. So we'll have to continue to watch this, obviously blowing some smoke right near and over I-75, something we will also continue to watch. But notice nearby communities actually that will have to monitor these fires in this situation. Verona Walk as well as a Winding Cypress, really everyone east of Collier Boulevard 951 will have to continue to watch to see where these fires are going to go. Again, wind speeds are going to remain the light speed for tonight, light side for tonight. That is going to be a good thing. But notice Lely Resort, Naples Manor, even Lely, all just west of Collier Boulevard. That is going to be a safer spot to be. Again, everyone Verona Walk as well as just south of there, east of Collier Boulevard, will have to watch out the fire situation for tonight and even the next few days. Fire danger index for tomorrow going to be a little better because more moisture is in the air. We're in moderate from Collier through Henry and even Sarasota, noticing Lee County, Highlands County, both at very high. And notice we've actually had some warm air with us. High temperatures today actually got to 83 in Fort Myers. Yeah, you hit 84 in Lehigh Acres today, 80 in Palmdale. Not a bad afternoon. Looking at that average high, 81 degrees. We were back above average for today, and that's how it's actually going to stay over the next few days, even over the next 10 afternoons. 67 right now in Fort Myers, dew point temperature back at 60, so more moisture already back in the air. That keeps our morning temperatures rather warm. That'll keep our afternoon temperatures even warmer, but also keeping that fire weather index on the lower side. 64 right now in Immokalee, 65 in Arcadia, 66 right now in Sebring. Not a bad evening if you plan to head out for a little bit. Even take your dog for a walk before you head off to bed for tonight. 83 for your Sunday, 86 for your Monday afternoon, 84 for your Tuesday. So notice temperatures staying at or above average. In fact, well above average as we end the work week. A few small showers possible on Friday, a few more showers possible next Monday. Easter Sunday looking very nice. Make those plans. Mostly sunny, highs in the low to mid 80s.
Oh, Zach, thank you. Breaking right now, the road where a pedestrian bridge collapsed, killing 6, is now open. Florida Highway Patrol says the removal of the bridge debris has wrapped up. 6 people died when the bridge under construction collapsed more than a week ago.
New developments now. Funeral services for U.S. Navy Lieutenant Caleb King were held today. King and Lieutenant Commander Bryce Johnson died earlier this month when their fighter jet crashed near Key West. On Friday, people in Virginia Beach celebrated each man's life. Fighter jets flew over the ocean front in honor of the men. The Navy is still investigating how the jet crashed.
I ask for your trust and patience as there is an active aviation mishap investigation being conducted by some of the finest professionals in the entire world.
Commander Johnson was laid to rest in Virginia Beach on Friday.
A busy intersection is back open tonight after an early morning crash that killed 1 person. This was seen near McGregor Boulevard and Cypress Lake Drive early this morning. You can see the damage to the sedan right there. Police had to shut down both lanes of McGregor while they investigated the crash. It's unclear what caused the wreck. We do not know the name of the person that was killed.
2 people were hurt when a hot air balloon hit a power line this morning in Pasco County. Sheriff's deputies say the basket struck the power lines, but how is unclear. The FAA and NTSB have been notified. The 2 people hurt will be okay.
And 8 businesses robbed in 26 minutes. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office says 2 people robbed the businesses early Thursday morning. All of them were within a few miles of each other. And these are images from security cameras of those suspects.
Getting a piece of a $142 million settlement. Wells Fargo customers may have more time to get part of the class action settlement. The bank admits it didn't tell all eligible customers about the payout stemming from its scandal over creating unauthorized accounts. A judge is deciding if there should be a new July deadline to file a claim.
A vicious dog almost kills a young girl. How a stranger saved her life. Next on the Night Beat.
Breaking right now, 2 West Virginia firefighters were killed and 3 others were injured when a volunteer fire department's truck flipped while responding to a call about a highway accident that also had fatalities. We'll keep you updated.
A 3-year-old boy in North Edwards, California is recovering after a dog nearly mauled him to death, but everyone, including law enforcement, agrees it could have been a lot worse had it not been for the man who dropped everything and saved the little boy's life. Wink News reporter Olivia LaVoice spoke to the Good Samaritan.
Oh man, my friend over here, he's one of a kind.
It started out like any other day for Dwayne Presley, hanging out with friends in his Northport neighborhood.
He just heard a noise and then we went outside. Next thing we know, he looked in the yard and he told me, he said, "Hey, there's a little kid over there and a dog." I said, "A little blonde kid."
Dwayne's friend pointed to a home where a 3-year-old had fallen from a window and into the pen with 2 large dogs. Dwayne said this dog cowered in the corner as the other viciously attacked the child.
You see where the right iron fence right there, that chain link fence? Yeah. Right there. I had to tear this fence up and jump over the fence to get to him. I didn't have time to think about anything. I come hell or high water, that child needs help. And that's all I know. I thought he was dead. He was sitting there in a crouched position like this, covering his eyes.
Dwayne grabbed the child and managed to fight off the pit bull. He saved the boy's life, but the damage to the toddler was severe.
Exposed his eye back to the cheekbone. And the dog had already had his side of his face eaten. And it was horrific for me, but I had to overcome it and do what I had to do. And put the child in my arms and protect him from the dog. And I didn't have, it was just a reaction that anybody would have did.
When KCSO arrived, they found the child's mother had been asleep during the attack.
During the course of the investigation, there was a lot of things with the house that were hazardous and not safe for a child to be living in. There was an 8-month-old that was there at the house, so Child Protective Services responded and took the second child into protective custody.
Animal Control also responded and took the dog who attacked the boy. They said today they'd come back for the second dog who was not involved in the mauling. Though there were others who witnessed the attack and were too frightened to intervene, Dwayne says he does not view his actions as heroic. He He says he just did what he had to do.
Children are supposed to be protected. I don't care what you got to do in life. Them children come first. No matter what. Drop what you're doing, your friends, whatever, them children come first. I don't even matter. I protect those children at all costs. I don't care what you got to do.
That was Olivia LaVoice reporting. The toddler was airlifted to the hospital with severe injuries, but he is expected to survive.
More information now on that breaking news out of West Virginia. 2 firefighters were killed and 3 others injured. The members of the Pratt Volunteer Fire Department were on their way to the wreck on the West Virginia Turnpike when their truck flipped. Survivors are being treated at Charleston Area Medical Center. The names of the victims and survivors have not been released. Craigslist is shutting down its personal section. Up ahead, why activists are saying it's an important step in the fight against human trafficking.
Plus, thousands of people across the world are asking for change. In minutes, Wink News shows you how the March for Our Lives became a worldwide event.
And back out live to North Fort Myers, where a massive mulch fire continues to burn late into the night. An update on what we know right after the break. Wink News is Southwest Florida's news leader.
From Southwest Florida's news leader, this is Wink News at 10.
And the Wink News Night Beat is on Fire Watch tonight. This is a live look at a mulch fire in North Fort Myers. This is at mile marker 144 off of I-75. Fire officials tell us the fire is expected to burn for weeks because of the mountains of mulch. Wink News has team coverage of fire conditions kicking people out of their homes, but we start with meteorologist Zach Malak. He joins us now. Now, Zach, what is the fire danger forecast for tomorrow?
Yeah, John Carlos, in fact, we were looking at the fire danger forecast of seeing a moderate forecast, which is actually better for the fires. But notice the 3 other fires that are now still burning in Collier County. The one thing to really note is that tomorrow morning at a.m., you will see an east breeze. This is actually going to push smoke over downtown Naples, Golden Gate, Lely Resort, even everyone really staying west of Collier Boulevard 951, even along US 41, the trail all the way north. So we are going to see some smoke tomorrow morning. Luckily, we have the wind shift for the afternoon, but it will look very similar to this. Starting off with that east breeze in the morning, pushing all the smoke towards downtown Naples, 3rd Street and 5th Ave. And we can continue to see the smoke near Marco Island tomorrow until we see a wind shift in the afternoon. Details on your smoke, that updated fire index also for your Sunday, as well as that full 10-day forecast with some better news coming up.
All right, Zach, thanks. People in Punta Gorda woke up this morning determined to dedicate their Saturday to change. We spoke to teachers and students who say this is just the beginning. Wink News reporter Chris Grisby has more.
I've seen a lot of signs saying that our generation is next for voting, and it actually is true, and we want to change, and we don't want this violence anymore.
Hundreds of people pounded the pavement of Punta Gorda.
I just really loved it, seeing how many people are giving us thumbs up.
Students and adults walked in unison and held signs for the March for Our Lives rally.
Today's the genesis. Today's the start of this. They need to stay because this is a long game. And if they want to make change, they're going to have to spin this message for the next year or 2 or 3 or 10.
Their fight for change in gun legislation won't be easy. Counter demonstrators voiced their opposition.
I don't need one to hunt, I can hunt with a slingshot.
I just wanted to show my support of the Second Amendment and that the actions of a madman shouldn't impede me, a sane person, from being able to exercise it.
There's always going to be people that don't support you, but you have to just keep going.
But these students say change is on the horizon.
At 16 and 17, you are allowed to register to vote, and that's what I did.
Vote! Chris Grisby, Wink News Now.
Wink News reporter Chris Grisby was live on Facebook for those rallies today. You can share all of this with your friends online.
And thousands also showed up this morning for a rally in Naples, a march put together by students in less than a month. 3,000 plus voices all gathered at Cambier Park in Naples to take part of this historic national event. The parents we spoke to say they want change for their children now.
I have grandkids in school that are now practicing for shooters to enter their classroom. Young children, shorter than my waist.
The marchers in Naples also rang a bell 17 times for the victims of the Parkland shooting, as well as one additional time for all the victims of gun violence before a moment of silence.
All across the country, millions of people took to the streets demanding change. This map shows more than 800 marches planned just in the U.S. Students from all over the nation migrated to Washington, D.C. to be part of the March for Our Lives. There, they met up with survivors of the Parkland school shooting and other students who say they're tired of gun violence in schools.
Sad to know that, this has happened and they have to go through this and they're still like my age.
I'm 16 and I'm in 10th grade.
I'm 9. I just think that it's really crazy how easy you can get a gun.
Earlier this week, someone brought a gun to our school.
It's kind of awful that people are actually afraid to go to school.
Florida student activists also spoke on the subject of arming teachers. Some politicians, including President Trump, say giving guns to teachers could improve school safety. But one survivor disagrees.
We need to arm our teachers. We need to arm them with pencils, pens, paper, and the money they need. They need that money to support their families and to support themselves before they can support the futures in those classrooms.
The National Rifle Association also took to social media this weekend to slam today's rallies. On Facebook, the NRA characterized the movement as a sham organized by, quote, Hollywood elitists and gun-hating billionaires. The post accused those billionaires and elitists of manipulating the youth protesters in an effort to, quote, destroy the Second Amendment.
Investigative teams raided the headquarters of the data company accused of illegally acquiring Facebook user information. Officers spent hours searching Cambridge Analytica's offices in London. In 2013, researchers built a personality quiz app that collected psychological data from Facebook users and some of their friends. The information was then sold to a third party, Cambridge Analytica, and used in targeted political advertising.
A water park and its director of operations are charged with involuntary manslaughter in the connection death to a 2016 death of a 10-year-old. Caleb Schwa died from a neck injury while riding the world's tallest water slide. The 47-page document alleged both parties knew the Verrect water slide was dangerous, ignored injuries from riders, and covered up the evidence. Park goers don't want the park to shut down, but they do want that slide to go.
I don't think that they should close the whole park just because it is like a place where families go, and maybe just like the best option would be to close that slide down. That way no one else can get hurt.
According to the indictment, the water slide was not properly or fully designed to prevent rafts from going airborne. And Craigslist shuts down its personal section. Some activists helping sex trafficking victims say this shift will help the fight against sex trafficking. Wink News reporter Lindsay Eaton shows us how.
On Craigslist, you can search for a job, a car, or even a place to live. But the personal section on the site no longer exists.
The first thing I said was hurrah, hurrah.
Congress passed a bill called the Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act. It imposes tougher penalties for anyone who operates an online service that helps facilitate prostitution. These new rules caused the classified site to pull its personal ads.
It's definitely a good move for Craigslist to take them down. Thank God.
Suzanne Bautista is the program director at Hope Center Indy, helping women who are escaping trafficking. She says every one of the women currently staying here have been exploited online, and that includes on Craigslist.
It exists. It exists here, it exists there, it exists in your backyard, in your front yard.
Bautista says many times victims are forced to write their own online profiles, so it looks like it wasn't created by a sex trafficker.
At the same time, we have to remember the women that are still out there and the children that are still out there, because it's just going to drive the traffickers underground.
In just the past year, the number of trafficking cases reported to national helplines increased. Under this new legislation, victims would be able to take legal action against the websites.
If we can get these blows one by one, we have to chip away at it. It's been going on a long time.
When you click on the personal section, you can see the statement Craigslist posted. In part, it says, any tool or service can be misused. We can't take such risk without jeopardizing all our other services, so we are regretfully taking Craigslist personals offline. Hopefully, we can bring them back someday.
A woman on dialysis isn't just waiting around to get a kidney transplant. How she's taking her health into her own hands. Next on the Wink News Nightbeat.
And temperatures right now are still sitting in the mid to upper 60s, so a milder night is in store for all of us. Details on your full forecast are coming up.
And Florida State is knocking on the door of the Final Four, and whether fans are celebrating or cringing this Saturday depends on which side of today's injuries and upsets they're on. As Chris Sale takes the mound today for the Boston Red Sox, it's not his pitching making this a scary start for the FGCU alum. But both Boston and Sale's former Florida Gulf Coast team are celebrating today. Watch why, along with the rest of your sports stories still ahead on Wink News.
Christy Fajardo, KCAL 9 News.
A pair of thieves take a vintage moped from under its owner. Surveillance video shows how this all happened at a Detroit gas station in broad daylight. Now, Kyle Williams says robbers approached him to ask him about his 1994 green and red Tomos moped. Williams said initially the man in the Chrysler 300 were just asking questions until they pulled out a gun.
Then the driver ended up brandishing a gun he showed me. The passenger got out of the car and came around and took the moped and took off on it.
Williams thinks video will show the license plate number of the getaway car. Detroit police are still reviewing that video. And all new tonight, enjoying retail therapy with a drink. The city of Edgewater in Colorado just passed an ordinance. Now shoppers can enjoy what's called common consumption.
So common consumption is the ability to take a beverage from one of our liquor license establishments and then walk throughout the common areas or other businesses with Stanley.
Owners say so far the idea has worked out pretty well. They say they've had no problems with visitors becoming overly drunk or out of control, which is nice. They do this a lot in New Orleans. You can kind of drink and take your drink with you with your next stop. So I think it's, you know, as long as people are
Interesting
responsible.
concept, yeah.
I think you're good.
Maybe coming to Fort Myers now. Probably not. You never know.
Such a good idea.
Yeah.
Why not? Just walking
Store
across
owners
the
must
street
be
to work.
happy. You know, you're a little, you know, you drink a little bit, you spend a
drink
little bit more money.
Yeah, more money.
I think it can help in that regard. And if you're doing anything for tonight, we have a pretty nice evening and tonight forecast, I should say.
nice.
Clear sky, pleasant. Temperatures still on the milder side. We actually had a few chilly nights the last few nights. We were only in the 40s a few short mornings ago. This morning we were at 50. Tomorrow morning back in the upper 50s and even at 60s. So we enjoyed tonight. If you're about to take your dog for a walk, go for a short walk. But before you head off to bed, notice we will continue to have that light breeze only from the southeast. So quite nice for tonight, even overnight tonight still being.
And let's take you back out live to this mulch fire in North Fort Myers. It's been burning for hours and you can still see I-75 is still moving, which is a good thing.
Yeah, this is right near Bayshore Road in North Fort Myers. Crews have been battling it all night. They say that this could be burning for the next few weeks because there's such mountains of mulch there. So we'll keep you updated. You can turn over to Wink News at 11 for more information. Let's get a quick look at final weather.
Luckily, we have more moisture back in the air for tomorrow. I'll have the updated fire index maps coming up at 11.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much for joining us. Have a great night.